put the meat on the seat or the feet to the street. When I was a kid, there was this guy who worked for my dad, and he told me that that's what you're supposed to tell a woman when you go out on a date with her. He's in prison for rape right now. I didn't write a joke for that. I just felt like after all these years I should tell somebody. I'm a bit of a movie buff. Films, excuse me. I love films. You know, I know about like every movie ever made pretty much. You know, I like the artistic shit. I discovered this hidden gem just the other day from the 90s. Great film called Forrest Gump. Yeah, a couple people seen it. And this movie, it impressed the shit out of me. The writing was so good. You know, the dialogue. There's one line in particular, when I heard this line, it touched me. I almost broke into tears. And the one part, the lead character, Forrest Gump, played by Tom Hanks. Paramount Pictures. He says, "I'm sorry I had a fight in the middle of your Black Panther party." And you know, that means a lot to me, hearing that, because as a white guy, I would be honored to get invited to a Black Panther party. And then to get kicked out of that party because somehow I managed to get in a fist fight with the only other white guy there. I like to think about the conversation the next day, you know, like, "Hey, how was the party last night?" "Oh, it was good, you know, it was fun." Until they showed up. You know, the whites. Speaking of white people, my daughters are white. I have 2 teenage daughters, and I heard one of them, she was on the phone with her friend, and they were complaining about their parents. And that doesn't bother me, you know, that's a thing teenagers do. But one thing she said kind of pissed me off, you know. She said that, you know, she said that her parents are not involved enough. I was like, not involved enough? I once threw a party for this bitch for turning 1. I don't know how I could possibly do more to celebrate her doing less. Not involved enough. I've been to every single one of her birthday parties. At no point in my entire life has my dad been anywhere close to knowing how old I am. A couple years ago, I found this old VHS tape, and it was one of my birthday parties when I was a kid. There were no dads on that tape. Not involved enough. We take her to the doctor. And we don't even wait for shit to be wrong with her. We take her for checkups. My mom would have never taken me to the doctor just to see. Now she would take me to the doctor to prove a point. You know, when I was a kid, I'd be playing in my room and my mom would call my name a bunch of times because she wanted me to come in the living room, you know, like to change the channel, you know, or get her a beer, or light her a cigarette. And look, what I'm doing right now is not fair because I'm making it sound like my mom was lazy. And that's not true. My mother was not lazy. She was pregnant. But yeah, you know, she'd have to call my name a bunch of times because I'm playing with my toys. I don't want to stop. So she took me to the doctor and she made me take a hearing test. Just so when I passed, she could say, all right, well, now that we know you're not fucking deaf, maybe you can explain to me why I have to call your name so many times. Parts of that story were true. And now, me and my wife, when I watch movies with my wife, we'll watch a lot of these documentaries, you know. She doesn't have a sophisticated palate to be able, you know, to understand an artsy film like Forrest Gump. So we watch a lot of these salacious documentaries, and a few months ago we watched that one about Nickelodeon. All right, now, before I get into this, I gotta say this, all right? I do not like making humor out of children being abused, okay? I'm gonna, but I don't like it. Boy, that documentary was fucking heavy. And, you know, they had one episode, the worst one was that kid Drake Bell, you know? And it was awful what happened to him, not funny at all. But the whole thing, it takes him a while to actually, like, get into, like, the real abuse, you know? You know, the episode's a whole hour. And at a certain point, I'm watching and I'm looking at how much time they got left, and I'm like, all right, he's about to hit us with the heavy shit, you know? And then my stepson comes in, you know, to get a snack, and we gotta pause the show. And then like 5 minutes later, he comes back in again because he needs a glass of water. And look, I lost it. I'm not proud of this. I yelled at him, and I was like, go to your room, boy. We're trying to watch these kids get raped in here. We go to work all day to put food on your plate and clothes on your back, and all we ask for is to watch these kids get molested in peace. We're trying to wind down. I love sandwiches. I'm big into sandwiches. I hate fucking Subway though. That place could suck a dick. I don't like their whole ordering process. It's stupid. I don't think I should pay money, give you money, and then tell you every fucking step of making my sandwich. Firehouse Subs is the best sub shop. Fuck Subway. I had lunch at Firehouse today. I was standing in line waiting to order, and they had this lady, she was ordering, and I heard her, she asked the cashier, she was like, what all comes on my sandwich? And I just fucking lost my mind. I said, take that shit to Subway, bitch. This is Firehouse. We're not so goddamn insecure that we need to micromanage every single piece of lettuce. You smelly, dirty whore. The entire restaurant gave me a standing ovation. We then booed this woman and hurled insults at her until finally she asked her nurse to wheel her out of there. You see, that's the problem with Subway people. They want everything on their sandwich to be perfect because their lives are a mess. If you enjoy Subway, get your shit together. And I had a friend of mine who loves Subway, and he's making fun of me, and he was like, oh, hey, Drew, you know, the reason you like Firehouse so much is because you want your sandwich to be made by a buff, shirtless fireman. So you see, the joke he's trying to make is, you know, he's calling me gay, you know? What's wrong with that? And also, it's important to point out, they don't actually have firemen working at Firehouse Subs. They already have jobs. They're firemen. If you go to McDonald's, they don't have a clown in the drive-thru window. You see, he thinks this because he eats at Subway. And at Subway, there's a very good chance you will see an obese pedophile. And you know what now? while we're talking about it, you know what? Fuck McDonald's too. That place is fucking nasty. I hate McDonald's. Every time I think about how popular McDonald's is, it makes me understand how eating ass is so popular. And you know, whether you eat McDonald's or you eating ass, you're in the same fucking headspace. You're drunk and you're sad. Now, there is an exception, okay? Like my stepson, he loves McDonald's, but he's autistic. So, he gets a pass. So in summation, if you are not drunk, depressed, or on the spectrum, and you like McDonald's, I don't think you should be allowed to vote or own property. So I was listening to talk radio the other day, and this guy calls in, and this guy says that he's having a romantic relationship with his cousin. All right, look, I don't want to split the room here, but I don't think you should fuck your cousin, all right? No, hold on, let me finish, all right? I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it pays off. I'm not sold on cousin fucking, all right? That's all I'm trying to say. And I told one of my friends about this, and he was like, well, I don't know, what if his cousin is like really, really hot? Why does everyone think it's so easy to fuck your cousin? It is not, okay? I can assure you, it is very, very, very difficult to fuck your cousin. Typically, in most cases, cousins don't want to fuck. So even if your cousin's like a 3, she still probably won't let you. So now, imagine trying to fuck your hot cousin. You know a crazy thing I can't believe? I can't believe there are people who still think this. I ran into someone the other day, they were telling me these crazy opinions, like, wow, they still have people like you. But, like, people that think, you know, that, like, gay people choose to be gay. And I can tell you for a fact, I know that's not a choice, because when my friends and I, when we were teenagers, girls would rarely talk to us, all right? Much less touch our wieners. And every weekend we would have a sleepover, okay? Like 4 or 5 teenage boys, and we would stay up all night, and we would just talk about how horny we were. And at no point did it ever occur to any of us that we could just fuck each other. I did not choose to be emotionally connected to the most complicated creature on the planet, okay? I was born this way. My wife, she gets mad at me all the time, you know, she's always upset. And then I have to figure out why she's upset. All right, look. Here's an idea. This is for just the straight fellas. Everybody else, stop listening. But straight fellas, just think, all right? Just think how much easier it could be if we could get over this little speed bump. Just think how much easier it would be if we just sucked each other's cocks. All right, think about it, all right? Think about it. Weekend comes around, all right? You get a few of your boys together, go down to the camp, catch a few fish, you jam some tunes, drink drink some ice cold beer. And then at the end of the night, we get in a smelly, dirty pile and we just fuck the shit out of each other. Imagine how refreshed you would be Monday morning. All right, well, thank y'all. I'm Drew Gotro.